What's going on, YouTube? And welcome to the Roundtable, where all things Detroit. And this is everything about the Lions. And I am your host, Mr. Micro Mike. And folks, we have a good one for you because I don't know if you've heard, some dumbass rumors have been going around when it comes to Matthew Stafford, and we gonna get right into it. But without further ado, let me get into these intros. First is the man who can remember the future. What up, though, JMO?
What's good, man? That's how I do it every day, each and every day.
Next is the man when crossing the street, cars look both ways. What up, Doe Real?
What up, Doe Mike? What up, Doe everybody in the chat? Happy to be back.
Absolutely. Next is the man who doesn't breathe. He holds air hostage. What up, Doe Andrew?
Hey, what up, Mike? Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, we are about to get it. And lastly, there will never be a zombie apocalypse because when the next member on the panel bites zombies, they will simply transform back into humans. What up, though, Luke G?
Mike in these introductions. What up, though, man? Let's get it. Let's talk to these Lions football.
J-Mo, can you do me a big favor and do some roll call?
All right, what's good, everybody in the chat? Make sure you guys like that video so we can get these likes up. We got Gerald313 in the building. We got PC Payload in the building. We got Hatter's House in the building. We got your boy Funky Nuts in the building. It's going to be funny every time I say your name. We got Ghost Gunner in the building. We got Tactile Puma in the building. We got Riley K in the building. How you doing? We got James Holyfield in the building. What's good, everybody, man? Make sure you guys like that video. We got a good one for you today.
And Riley is my 7-year-old daughter, so I got to be clean here for a moment. But let's get right into this bad boy. Let's get into this. We had some rumors flying around, and the sports world went crazy when it was reported that the Lions have been in talks to trade Matthew Stafford. J-Mo, what is your thoughts about this rumor?
Man, I was laughing because, a lot of my subscribers were like, some Matthew Stafford news came out. I'm like, okay. And first of all, the source isn't reliable. Second of all, you're not going to trade Stafford when you have a $31 million cap hit. It just makes no sense. And we got to stop acting like Tua is the savior and the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. He's not. Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, I could go into a rant about Tua's failures after that championship game, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna talk about SEC championship. He got benched, and then he got whooped up by Trevor Lawrence, and then the next year he did nothing with Alabama and got injured all year. But it's cool. Anyway, the Lions are not gonna trade Stafford in a win now season. You're trying to win now, and you're gonna trade away a top 10 quarterback. And also, a lot of people talk about our franchise, but you can't name me one franchise that's ever traded away a top 10 quarterback. People want to bring up the Alex Smith situation and the Joe Flacco situations. Those guys were not top 10 quarterbacks. Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You're not going to trade him in a season where you need to win games when he got injured and you didn't win any more games after that. That's all I got.
Andrew, I need some help here, man. Tell the people what you think about this.
Well, first off, I just want to say, hit that like button, help us out, get us more popular so we can have bigger conversation and a bigger community. I want to take a page out of Stephen A. Smith's book and say, that's blasphemous. Like, what are you talking about? I don't do it quite as well as him, obviously. He has the face, he has the voice. But I just think it's ridiculous, in all aspects of the sense, like J-Mo was saying, he's a top 10 quarterback. They try and compare it to maybe Alex Smith, Joe Flacco, but those guys had complete teams around them. Defense, wide receivers, running back, good coaches, all this stuff. We're missing a good amount of pieces, and Stafford, he gets us those fourth quarter comebacks, he gets our team hype. He keeps us in a top 10 offensive position, each year when he's healthy. Like J-Mo said, we lost Stafford. We lost every single game following that. To trade Stafford, along with what I just said, on top of the cap hit and everything, would be by far one of the worst moves in league history. Not franchise history, league history. So that's just what I think.
Now, PC Payload, he wrote a comment on my post, and it was one of the most excellent comments, and I didn't even think about it. I believe the comment was, maybe this was done simply to press other teams to trade up so that they can take Tua at the second pick. And that leaves the Lions with Chase Young and or Herbert with a possible trade as well. I would like to make sure that he said that. That's correct. So let me know if I remembered that correctly. But it was a really excellent point he made. And we'll get into that in a minute. But real initial thoughts. Trade.
Yeah, I think PC Payload and me are on the same page here. I think it's a complete and utter smokescreen. I think that there's no chance Bob Quinn can be that dumb, to be honest with you. I think that it would be just like Andrew said, the worst pick ever. But I think that for sure it's a smokescreen to get other teams thinking that the Lions are interested in taking Tua and that they need to trade up to 3 in order to get their guy. So I think it's a beautiful plan for us to get more draft capital in the end. And I think that Kelly Stafford's definitely in on the plan as well. Because, we saw her posting Snapchats about maybe going to LA, going to the Chargers. She said, "Oh, hey, I think I could work with California. That'd be nice," or something like that. And I think she's totally in on it as well. There's no way that there's no way that they didn't tell Stafford and his wife, hey, we're gonna throw your name out there to some teams, and it's gonna get us some better draft capital on draft day. So yeah, for sure.
It was a great troll, in my opinion. It was a great 4D chess move. You had people thinking, holy shit, Kelly Stafford is talking about going to California? This must be real. But in my opinion, this was the greatest troll of all time. Luke G, give me your thoughts, man. Holy hell, Luke G, you're breaking.
Oh, my bad. Is it breaking up?
Yeah, you sounded like you just took a fistful.
Hey,
I thought I was
watching
RoboCop for a minute, bro.
Hey, nah, man. Driving while I'm driving is what it is, man. On the way to get the family. But how can I best put this? I'm exhausted with this. I am. I'm exhausted with this talk. I'm exhausted with this idea. I want the Lions to just go ahead and trade him. And I'm going to tell you why. This city deserves it. The fan base deserves it. And I'm sick of it. Could you imagine going to work every single day knowing that the people you work for can't stand your guts, and every time you turn around, the people who supposed to be supporting this and giving it your all is telling us to get you up out of town? It's got to be annoying to hear every year trade Stafford. Stafford's the problem. We got to change things. This Lion fan base swear it down. The next quarterback going to be the next great. Charlie Batch, Rodney Peete, Dan Orlowski. I mean, give him a chance. See what life is like. And we keep doing this. And in the source, in my opinion, he needed a way to get some attention. Well, he did it. But I'll be dang if the fans didn't hop on it, hook, line, and sinker, and jump right on it like it was a slip and slide ride to the heavens. And they bit. Oh, get rid of him, trade him. This is a great move. This is starting to do the re-thing. We're going to rebuild. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought from what I was being told that we were doing a rebuild after a 9-7 season, which I thought was odd. But now you're going to tell me we're going to rebuild within the rebuild? This is dumb, people. And whatever they do, we deserve it. And as far as I'm concerned, the more these fans keep saying get rid of him, I say do it. And when he's gone and this team is hot garbage, where whoever they get next at quarterback that the fans want, then we can sit there and go, wait a minute, this is what you asked for, remember? I just want you to know, if you come in this chat and you say anything like that, like move Stafford for Tua or anything like that, don't make no mistake. I will make sure I keep that screenshot. So when we get him and he hot garbage, and then you come back in and be like, Tua's trash. Wait a minute, you wanted him.
That reminds me of the video I put out where it was like, set Matthew Stafford free. Trade him because the fans don't deserve him. And you know the worst part about this is I can't find a Lions fan that wants to trade Matthew Stafford that doesn't think he's going to win somewhere else. That shows you how dumb you are.
Right.
If you think he's going to win on another team, why would you want to get rid of the dude? Like, it makes no sense. But these are Lions fans, the dumbest fans in NFL history, because they don't know what good look like. And the main thing I love what Luke said. Why do y'all think we're going to get another quarterback that's just going to swoop in and save us? I said it once, I'll say it again. Stafford was a generational talent, and I feel like Trevor Lawrence could be that. But unless you some type of generational Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Watson, like unless you that kind of court, you're just not gonna come in here and win. And the last thing I'll say, Stafford being an Iron Man is very underrated because he's been sacked so many times. I done lost count 6 years ago, and I don't think all of these other quarterbacks could take that pounding.
Definitely not Tua.
I just put it like this. I don't care if it was Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if it was Tom Brady. Okay, y'all don't see this ridiculousness that keeps happening. I'm gonna help y'all see it though. I'm gonna help y'all see it. We had a third string quarterback throw the ball 45 times. Why? In games where we had leads. Keep this in mind, people. We had second and third string guys still throwing the ball in games we had leads. What you think they're going to do when they get a guy like Tua? Throw the ball some more.
Get him injured.
Get him killed.
I guarantee you Tua won't last more than 6 games.
Man, if Patrick Mahomes was on this team, he wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes. You know why?
He will be Stafford.
Coaching sucks. The coaching sucks. The run game sucks. The scheme sucks. The thing. Go ahead.
This is facts that I'm gonna spit, and this is why when I seen it, I just started laughing. 32 is the magic number. Yes. Stafford's 32, but guess what? So is his cap hit, $32 million. If we get rid of Stafford, it's going to cost us $32 million. If we keep Stafford, it's going to cost us or catch us in the cap around $20 million. So we would lose $10 million to $12 million if we got rid of him. It makes no sense. So if you're going to draft the quarterback and get rid of Stafford, it's going to cost you $10 million. If you decided, hey, I want to take a quarterback, but you keep Stafford, you save $10 million. It's impossible. We're not trading Matthew Stafford. There is 32 million reasons why it's not going to happen. Every single time a rumor pops up, this is what I say every single time. Follow the money. That's what it's about, is the money. And if we was to trade Matthew Stafford and we lose 10, we have 32 million to go against the cap, and we sign another quarterback for 15 to 20 million, I would freaking kick Bob Quinn in the ball so damn hard for destroying this team's financially.
I want to know, Lions fans don't realize that Tua can't even play this year. So if you draft Tua and trade Stafford, we're going to be playing with David Blau. Do y'all realize that?
David Blau,
they don't listen. Forget that.
He can't even play this season.
Go back to the most basic part, J-Mo. Go back to the most basic part. The first round pick at 3, 4, 5 need to be on the field. If you're a top 10 pick, you need to be on the field that year. I don't care. You should be on the field that year. And if he can't get on the field, why are you taking him? Take it a step further, though. I'm gonna go back to what Mike just said. So people want him traded. Okay, we got what 40, 50 something million in cap space. Okay, so 32 of that we gonna be
47 million.
So 47. So we're going to take a $32 million cap hit, wipe out more than a quarter of our cap this year, almost half of it next year, because you're gonna have to put some people under contract. And we're going to do all that to do what? To get a quarterback who now may end up getting a new head coach, a new general manager, and now we're going to ask that coach to take something that somebody else took and make magic out of it. That's the most lion-ish stuff I've ever heard.
And here's another, if you're a guy who says, I want to draft a quarterback with that third pick, okay, keep Stafford then. Because if you get rid of Stafford, it's going to cost us $10 million more. So literally, we save money by keeping him. If we trade him, we're losing. Like, it makes no sense.
It's a lose-lose for sure.
It makes no sense. And PC Payload, I actually agree with his conspiracy theory. I think it's a 4D chess move. I think it's, hey, guys, make sure you trade up with the Washington Redskins. Wink, wink. The Lions going to take Tua. And we're just sitting back laughing our asses off because we know we're going to get a payload when it comes to being the third pick, whether we take a player, decide to trade back with a bunch of new cap and free cap with free draft picks. We're sitting pretty. I think the Staffords and Quinn got together and they made this bullshit thing up.
I actually think it's genius though, because teams will believe it. Teams will believe it because we're the Lions. They're like, yeah, the Lions ain't never won. Yeah, they'll get rid of Stafford. They probably will take Tua. It's so believable if you really think about it. That's why I think it's kind of genius.
Hey, I laugh as soon as I heard it. That's what I posted on my comment section. Folks, we ain't trading Stafford, but I love the idea because that draft pick is like it keeps gaining more steam and getting more value for it. Who the hell knows? Maybe we can pull out 2 damn first-round picks for it. At this rate, every team in the world's going to think we're going to take Tua or Herbert, whoever they want. It's hilarious. Luke, do you think this is a 4D chess move that was done by the Staffords and Quinn?
No. Nope. This is what I think. I think this was somebody trying to get ahead of a story that they thought to themselves, oh, I got the magic key, and this will make for good media. And if it does happen, guess who broke it first? I did. The problem with doing things with being a source is you need to make sure that the source you're talking to is so reliable that you can't miss on this. And to me, if I'm not mistaken, this the same dude who said the Tigers was going to get rid of somebody that ended up being there for the next 2 or 3 years. So you need to check your sources. I don't think that this is thrown out there by the Lions, because if it was thrown out there by the Lions, why would the general manager come out and be like, this is a 100% false thing? And I think Kelly Stafford is laughing because she's like, who comes up with this stuff and why? Who told you this? And why you believe in it? So she had fun with it. I don't think that at all that this was no clever move or anything like that. Why? Because Bob Quinn is like an assassin. He moves in silence. Okay. And he is strategically working behind the scenes. You didn't have all that media talking when they was trading for Rob Gronkowski. You didn't know about it until after it fell through. Then somebody on the Patriots side said Rob was like, if you trade me, I'm retiring. And that came out of Rob's camp. You didn't hear the Lions talk about it. The Lions don't discuss their moves. That was the old Lions. Now, if this was Matt Millen, Martin Mayhew, Tom DeWine, you damn skip it. That was a fake attempt at trying to get people. But Bob Quinn don't do that.
But this is just a
reporter being stupid.
That's the point, though. This isn't a move. Like, you didn't hear about the Rob Gronkowski thing. It's because we were trying to actually trade for Rob Gronkowski. Like, this move, there's no way they're going to trade Matt Stafford, but the only way they're benefiting from this is if they throw that rumor out there so that people think that they're trying to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
If we were actually trying to deal Stafford, I agree. I feel like we wouldn't even hear about it till it happens. But the point is that I really do think this is happening. I really do think they're throwing a smokescreen, trying to get that pick more valuable, and I think it's working. And I think PC Payload had a comment about it. I think we're being counterproductive. I think we should lie about it too. Yep, they're totally trading him. Yep, we're gonna trade it. We're gonna get Tua, and yep, if you guys want Tua too, you guys gotta trade with us.
If you think about,
folks, my kid Riley Kimber, she's a little YouTuber. So if you got little kid friends, she does little kid videos. So make sure you subscribe to her. She's telling me to do that. So I have to say it or else I'm in trouble. Now, Robert says, someone name a signature Stafford win. I will name you a whole season. Last season, as soon as Stafford was out, we went winless. That pretty much explains the result of without Stafford.
8 fourth quarter comebacks in one season.
I was about to say eight fourth quarter comebacks in the season. You can take the Patriots game. You can take beating Packers and Lambeau for the first time in 25 years.
Dallas Cowboys jumping over line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, you can go 2011, taking us to the playoffs. I mean, that's just another myth that Lions fans like to make up. I mean, especially that 2016 year. I know we lost in the playoffs, but if we don't beat the Redskins, we don't even make the playoffs.
Dang, Luke. Oh.
Luke's on a jet.
Luke is on a jet plane. Now, look, I get it. People say we don't have our signature wins with Stafford or without him. May I say this? Then the problem's probably not him. If he's in the lineup and we still lose, there's an issue going on there. When he's out in the lineup and we still lose, there's an issue going on there, and that needs to get fixed. And I think there's a lot of issues with the team. I think Stafford's not the main issue. I think the main issue with this team, in all honesty, is defense. I think we can't run the football. We can't stop anyone on defense, and that's how you lose games.
Hold on. Gerald 313 says we were on a loop. Whoa, my goodness.
Luke
He said
is
we were on. Oh yeah,
Maverick from Top Gun.
no, he says we were on a losing streak with Stafford playing. Yeah, we were, but we don't lose to the Cowboys. We don't lose to the Bears. We don't lose to the Redskins. We don't lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We don't lose to the Denver Broncos with Stafford playing. And you're not gonna get me to believe anything different. I definitely think we go 8-8 if he stayed healthy. Especially when we had backup quarterbacks. We had backup quarterbacks almost beating these teams and then losing just because they're backups. So, I just you got to look deeper, man.
See, this is my thing. Let me address this, and I'm sorry about the microphone, people. I am driving from work on my way to go get my children. So, he said I'm on that G6 jet. Hey, could be. Hey, don't test it now. But listen, let's be honest. When people say stuff like this, like, oh, well, he ain't won no playoffs and he ain't won no Super Bowls and he ain't won this and he ain't won that and blah 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 blah. I always ask them this simple question that nobody can never answer. Well, tell me who's done those things and done it with less with a team similar to what he had to deal with. Now, what that means is show me who's getting sacked all the time, no run game, went into his 10th year before he finally got a tight end on his roster, okay, and hadn't had good coaching. Name me that quarterback. So let's take Stafford out of the picture. Name me the quarterbacks who's doing it with less. Patrick Mahomes ain't doing it with less. That run game is the reason they won the Super Bowl. Because if it had to be on his shoulders, they took an L because of them passes he was throwing. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how all these different games where people want to hype up Tom Brady, but they don't realize that most of those Super Bowls that Tom Brady won came on a hill, literally the foot of a kicker. And everybody
let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo getting
right.
carried to a Super Bowl.
Right. Y'all get it all confused. Y'all want to talk about playoff wins, and y'all always want to talk about, well, he ain't did this, he ain't did that. What did Ryan Tannehill do to win a playoff game?
Yeah,
what did Jimmy Garoppolo do to win a playoff game? You know how many quarterbacks literally sit there and do nothing? Peyton Manning got a Super Bowl and is horrible in that game. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Y'all always want to do this win-loss record, but what about why does when the NFL blow a blatant pass interference call, that's a loss for Drew Brees? Why? Why is that on Drew Brees? Y'all keep coming up with this stupid quarterback win-loss record as an excuse, but what y'all not looking at is what is around them. Football is a team sport. This ain't basketball. This ain't tennis. This ain't golf. You have to rely on the man next to you for it to work. And who has he had to rely on? Calvin Johnson? Let me give you a news flash about Calvin Johnson. They literally had coaches upon coaches, and I got proof to do it because I talked to a few NFL players who play for the Lions, and I talked to even JT O'Sullivan, and they all told me that they will practice all this stuff for all these weeks and get into the game, and the plan went right out the window and throw the ball to Calvin. This right here ain't the Matthew Stafford problem. Y'all got to stop with this. So when y'all making that all up, let's talk about all the quarterbacks who's made it somewhere and didn't do nothing. Y'all forget Rex Grossman made it to a Super Bowl. You gonna tell me he win the Super Bowl? He win the playoff games? Stop playing with me, people.
Now, with all this trade talk that's taking place, how this will affect the Lions with the third pick? Do you think the value just keeps going higher and higher, J-Mo?
Well, I'm a little bit confused because I'm not 100% convinced that Bob Quinn would trade back. Now, he might do it, but we really haven't seen Bob Quinn trade back in the first round. Bob Quinn's the type of guy where he's like, well, if this is my guy, I'm going to take him. Even when we had the 8th overall pick, we had the 3rd overall pick, and if his guy is Chase Young, if his guy is Okudah, if his guy is Derrick Brown, if his guy is Isaiah Simmons, I think there's a 75% chance he takes that guy. So, but I also do think, this is why I said I'm a little bit confused, I also think that Bob Quinn might want to take his guy and then the team calls and be like, look, we'll give you 2 firsts and a second. Just something crazy that even though he wants to take his guy, he can't pass up a deal like that and he'll just have to take another guy. So that's why, I don't really know what Bob Quinn's going to do because I know he hasn't had a pick as high as 3. His highest pick was 8. But I don't know if he's going to trade back or not because he might just be like, you know what, I'm taking Chase Young. I'm taking Isaiah Simmons. I don't care about none of these trades.
And we're going to get to that in a second. But Andrew, what do you think about this? Do you think the value of this third pick just keeps getting higher and higher? And what do you think legitimately we could get out of this if we decide to trade back, say with Miami?
Well, first off, I just want to say, everyone hit that like button, show some love to us. I personally think that with all this talk going on, that it's only beneficial to us because let's say Miami wants to trade the Redskins because they really want Tua. They're worried that maybe we are going to trade Stafford and take Tua, or maybe the Chargers or someone's going to jump up and take Tua before they can. All that does is put Chase Young right in our laps. And so not only do we have the option to, trade back if for some reason Redskins take Chase Young, but if Chase Young is there, now we could potentially trade our pick, guaranteeing a team at the top edge rusher in the entire draft class. And that is one of the most valuable things that you can possibly give to somebody. So, I mean, either way, it's a win-win for us, So it's, in terms of what we could potentially get, it depends. If Miami does trade up to number 2 to get Tua, then I don't think we're going to get as much as Miami can offer because they're the only team that has multiple first-round picks that's guaranteeing us a top 5 pick and another pretty high first round. So I think the best we could do in this one is maybe a first-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year, and a second round pick, just to guarantee that this team is getting Chase Young if Tua goes at number 2.
Okay. Now, Real, what do you think? Do you think that we could drive the price up, get more than what we would even expect? Or the Chase Young, if he is there, do you take him?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it makes the third overall pick more valuable and the second overall pick more valuable because teams are going to want to look up to even get in front of us if they really think that we are going to trade or try and draft a quarterback. So I think it definitely drives up the price. I think this is just like the healthy Tua news. Like this is just money to my ears, music to my ears. I hear cha-ching every single time. It's just great. I want to hear more about this. I literally want Kelly to pack her bags and put a social media post saying ready to move. Well, let's go. Yeah. Plane tickets, everything. The kids go, enroll in a school in California. I don't care, whatever it is. I think that all of this is music to my ears, and I want the value to go up and up and up so that we could get more draft capital. If we could get another first-round pick and even another pick on top of that, do it. And then with more news about different teams wanting to get a quarterback, like obviously the Chargers, the Colts, the Carolina Panthers, and I just even if it's future picks, let's go. If we get multiple first round picks and they're future picks too, I'm cool with that. I'm a long-term fan. I'm gonna be a fan for the rest of my life. If it's 10 first round picks for the next 10 years, let's do it. So I want the most draft capital as possible. But hey, if we don't get, if this works by driving up the value of the second pick and they draft this in the second pick, like Andrew's suggesting, then honestly, if we don't have good enough offers, I'm happy taking Chase Young or Isaiah Simmons or just having our pick of the litter at that point because we're not going to get a quarterback and 2 quarterbacks would have been taken. And then we'd get any pick we wanted for any defensive player. And that's what I want if we can't get more draft capital.
What's going on, Crimson Shadow? Welcome to the chat. Also, if you're a subscriber and you want to join the show, just DM myself or Luke G. We will get you on. I got a lot of questions today and recently about that, about jumping on. Anybody is welcome. All you have to do is hit us up. Robert, I'm going to end this because we're going to just move on, but I want to say this. If the Lions decided to draft a quarterback and we didn't have Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn and we decided to start over, I would be fine with that. But the point I'm trying to make here is 32 million cap hit is not going to happen. So there's no reason to simply talk about something that's not going to happen. It's reality. Now, when it comes to that third pick, personally, this is great news for me. This is absolutely fantastic. I don't mind at all if a team decides to trade up with the Washington Redskins and take Tua, because then we will have the pick of You can go ahead and pick whatever player you want, best in the NFL draft, not naming a quarterback. That's great news. But the value of Herbert also would jump up because so many teams want a quarterback, and the value there would drop up. But if Chase Young is there at 3 and we don't get a blown away by a great trade, it would be so nice to have him on our defensive line and the Honolulu blue and silver, chasing down quarterbacks, smacking them down, getting a velociraptor on the end to just eat up a quarterback. I would like that. I would absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. Chase Young with Deshaun Hand and Trey Flowers and probably a great defensive lineman that we're gonna get in free agency sounds wonderful to me.
Yes.
Robert, hit us up, man, and we'll get you on. Oh my God! Just imagine having Chase Young on one side, Trey Flowers there. Trey Flowers was doing great at the end of the season when he was healed.
Yeah, he got a sack in every single game after
Deshaun
he
Hand
got
when he's
healed.
healthy.
I think people forget about how great of a player he is just because he was hurt this year.
16 and a half sacks for Chase Young, and he missed 2 games in college.
And it was the most in Ohio State history.
Good.
And he
That's
missed
crazy.
2 games.
I am on the Chase bandwagon. I would not be mad at all if we decided to trade him. I covet him. I just put the idea that Washington Redskins are going to get him. But if Washington trades out, guess what, man? That would be fan-freaking-tastic to have him on the line. But if we decide to trade back and get more picks, it's just a win-win, man. It's a win-win all around. Now, there's also rumors and news coming out that Mr. Khalil Mack is on the trade block for the Chicago Bears. J-Mo, would you trade for Khalil Mack?
Here we go with this. No, I'm gonna go to one of most people that I can't stand. No way, no how. I'm not trading for no Khalil Mack with his huge contract. There's plenty of reasons why I'm not trading for Khalil Mack. One, what happened to his impact with the Bears this year? I don't want no excuses because Bears fans, Akeem Hicks wasn't there, so Khalil Mack couldn't do what he wanted to do. Did he have a Akeem Hicks when he played for the Raiders? I don't think so. Why does he need Akeem Hicks in order to be effective? You're supposed to be one of the best defensive players in the league. Now, also, his contract is way too big. Trey Flowers got a $90 million contract. Stafford got a big contract. You got to pay Kenny Galladay. We don't know what we're going to do with these offensive linemen. Jesse James' cap hit is going to be bigger this year. Justin Coleman cap hit. And then you got to still think about paying Darius Slay. And the last main reason why I will never trade for Khalil Mack in my life, I'm not helping the Bears with anything humanly possible. I want y'all to suffer. I want y'all to suck. And every time I see Deshaun Watson play in a Houston uniform, I want to laugh at y'all. And every time I see Mr. Trubisky suit up, I want to laugh at y'all. I'm not trying to help them get no quarterbacks. I'm not trying to help them fix their franchise. I'm not trying to help them fix their team. I hate the Chicago Bears, and I will never do any type of work with them. No.
The Bears.
Exactly,
The Bears.
Mike. Exactly, Mike.
Andrew, would you trade for Khalil Mack?
Well, I knew this was coming, man.
I know.
Yo, 100% for so many reasons, J-Mo. All right.
My God.
You take the fact that it's not the Bears away. Would you do it?
Wait. No. We can't take the fact that it's not the Bears away because it is the Bears.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way.
Take that away. It is the Bears. If we trade for Khalil Mack, we're giving the Bears our picks.
So let's put it this way, right? The whole thing we've been saying is, you got to build a team around Stafford. And let's put it this way. Stafford has, 1 year left of his contract or 2?
2.
2, okay. Got 2 years left of his contract. Patricia and Quinn are out the door if we don't have a good season. The best thing you can possibly do is load up your defense. What would be the best scenario? Having 2 beast defensive ends on your team and all those players that we were talking about that were injured and, our defense could be better if we weren't injured. You're adding all those pieces back on top of Khalil Mack, who has won Defensive Player of the Year like 2 years ago, and let's say we can't win it with Khalil freaking Mack. What that tells me is you're gonna have to get rid of Stafford after
Andrew.
this season.
Oh, we
Andrew.
couldn't win. We couldn't win it with a top 2 defense and Ndamukong Suh. Like, what do you mean?
JMO, let me take this one on real
Okay.
quick. Let me go in on this. If we trade with the Chicago Bears for Khalil Mack, we are hurting ourselves because then they will have a chance to go ahead and find someone to replace Trubisky. And I love Trubisky on the Bears because he blows cock. He sucks. That's why I love him. He's the greatest quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I don't want them to have a chance to get somebody that's good. I hate the Bears. The Bears are trash, and I don't want that contract. And I want Khalil Mack to stay on that team so they don't have a chance to get a franchise quarterback because they have no damn draft capital to get one. The last damn thing I want to see is the Chicago Bears getting themselves a young quarterback. We're finally getting Aaron Rodgers, who's getting older. We got Kirk Cousins, who's getting up there. Last damn thing we need, the Chicago Bears, to get themselves a damn quarterback and have to deal with that son of a bitch for 20 years.
All right, hold up. Let me counter this real quick. So you're saying in the 3rd overall pick, they're going to land that beast franchise quarterback with 2 of the top quarterbacks in the draft class already going 1 and 2, right? And when was the last time a franchise quarterback has gone in the top 3 in recent years?
I am an Oregon Duck fan. Justin Herbert is like Stafford, but faster. He would do well. A lot of people underperform.
I was about to say, it's not about it. Go ahead, Mike. My fault.
A lot of people underestimate his ability because he is not the most vocal individual, but he's very talented. And if you put a running quarterback on the Chicago Bears offense with the weapons they do have, all they need is a little bit of offense, and that team can go places because their defense.
Yeah,
and
but we're talking about taking away their top defensive player.
Khalil Mack only had Khalil 8 sack. And
the thing is,
his cap hit is helping the Lions because it's hurting their team. They will have then more chance to put building blocks around that, and I don't want to. I want to see them.
I don't think you realize how bad Mr. Trubisky is. Jeff Driscoll is better than Mr. Trubisky. This the thing. The thing is, like, you could put almost any quarterback and replace him with Mr. Trubisky, and the Bears would be a contender. Let's not forget, before they got Khalil Mack, the Bears were a top 10 defense. They were the 10th defense in the league. Bears have always been good on defense. So even if we get Khalil Mack, they'll find a way to be still a very good defensive team, and now they have an upgraded quarterback. Trubisky is the greatest thing that's happened to the Lions fans. I say it since we drafted Megatron and Stafford. Like, it was wonderful. I'm not trying to help them. I mean, I guarantee you, Trubisky is not going to be there this year. It's either going to be Phillip Rivers, might be Tom Brady, it might be Cam Newton. It don't matter who it's going to be. It's going to be a problem for us because Trubisky is that bad of a quarterback. He's one of the worst starting quarterbacks I've seen, and the Bears have had some bad quarterbacks. Could you imagine the Bears having a worse quarterback than Rex Grossman and Jay Cutler? But they do. And you trying to help them get a replacement?
Hold up, J-Mo.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I've been preaching that Trubisky has been the worst quarterback since he came into league. You can ask Real. We've had many conversations about this. But here's my thing. When Khalil Mack came onto the Bears, their team skyrocketed in how good they were. I mean, their team was one of the most dominant defenses we've seen in a long time. And then what happened?
What happened at the end?
Exactly, but let's put it this way. What happened this past season? Khalil Mack didn't play well, so he was a non-factor as he was the year before. And now they sucked, but they couldn't do crap, right? So you take Khalil Mack out of that situation, which is basically what happened this past season. Their defense isn't that great. Their offense isn't that great. And you're relying on the fact that they're going to take someone with a 3rd overall pick and get a quarterback. But everyone knows Trubisky is a huge part of the problem, so they're going to replace him regardless. So why not steal their best defensive player that took them from bottom of the barrel team in the league to a legit Super Bowl
because
contender.
You can't risk them getting a great quarterback and us being the reason they got a great quarterback.
Russell Wilson wasn't drafted in the first round. Tom Brady wasn't drafted in the first round. Like, there's so many elite quarterbacks that weren't drafted in the first round, and you guys are just assuming, though, that with the third overall pick, they're going to land a franchise quarterback on top of.
Can you not understand not helping your division rival? Like, you don't help your division rival at all.
Let me add into this conversation a little bit.
Go ahead.
Why are you forgetting about the contract? It's the contract too.
Yes. It's the contract. Because look, if we look at who we got last season, okay, we got Trey Flowers. 2019, his cap hit was $6.5 million. That jumps up this year to $16.7 million, and then to $20 million next year, and up to $24 million later on. Justin Coleman, same deal. 2019, his cap hit was $3 million, jumped up to $9 million. Next year, it's going to be $11 million. Khalil Mack, okay, Bears did the same thing with him. In 2018, they only paid his cap hit was only $13.8 million. Then it was $12 million in 2019. Now it's jumping up to $26.6 million. This is why they need to get rid of him. We're going to have to literally throw away half our free cap space just for this guy, and we have so many holes to fill that it wouldn't even make sense. And we have linebackers and defensive ends on payroll already, so it's not even like we're filling one of the holes we need. We're adding it as almost like it would be a huge luxury add because he's amazing, but like we still have to fill those holes regardless.
Dude, Khalil Mack is getting paid more than Matthew Stafford there's no
chance.
If you look at how much quarterbacks are getting paid and you just put Khalil Mack will be the 6th highest paid player in the league, and he's not a quarterback. And then don't forget, you got to pay Kenny Golladay. And don't forget, we still have to sign free agents. And we actually can't trade for Khalil Mack because we wouldn't be able to afford him now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, you look at a team like the Rams, though. The Rams have massive contracts across the board. But, and they were in a win now potential. What happened? Yeah, but they're in a win now situation, and they went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Because they brought all those guys.
Aaron Donald. They drafted Aaron Donald and had him on a cheap rookie deal, which is what we should do.
But he wasn't on a rookie deal in the Super Bowl. All these guys have basically $100 million contracts.
Yeah, okay, but his cap hit was minimal. His cap hit was minimal because they did the same thing they did with Khalil Mack and that we're doing with Trey Flowers. All of that money is going to hit them later on, and now they're in cap hell because now they're going to get those big contracts. That's why they have to cut everybody. There's no way that they're going to keep all these players. They were trying to get to the Super Bowl last year and this year and possibly even this year, but they know they're going to be in cap hell later on. They're not going to be able to trade these aging players.
You got $26 million plus $21 million plus Trey Flowers $16 million. We only got $47 million. Like, we can't even afford him. And then I didn't bring up $20 Kenny Golladay.
As a fan, I'd rather load up and take the risk and go all out and have the potential of making the playoffs in a legit run because we have so much talent and be screwed for a couple of years than to just constantly be screwed and nothing is changing.
Yeah, you're not making any sense. You're not making any sense. You're not making any sense.
That's going to screw us for years going forward. And you can just trade back the pick, fill a bunch of holes with number one and first round and second round picks, and that's going to help you into the future and currently. Even if we get Khalil Mack, we're still going to have all these holes. We're not going to win now. We're not going to make it to the playoffs or anything. We got to fill D tackle spot out of all these spots.
But that's a short-sighted view from the get-go because why would you're going to load – and when you load up and you go all in to win the championship. If all you aiming for is playoffs, this even makes even worse sense. If all you need to get
Super Bowl.
But Khalil Mack is not going to get you there. He's not nobody that's gonna change the outcome like that. He's not that person. Let's not fool ourselves. Okay? Khalil Mack is not worth the issue or the trouble of it. That's first. So secondly, why would you want under any circumstance to just say, oh well yeah, if I can aim up and make a legit run in the playoff, what legit run you gonna run? Injuries happen every year. So let's say you do load up, you do just that. Now he hurt. Now what? And you still got to pay him his contract. It doesn't make sense to do this. There's no way we should ever consider trading to the enemy. That just doesn't make sense. I mean, it does not add up. And then the worst part about it is this. if you do add Khalil Mack and you give them that first pick at 3, and they take that first pick at 3 and turn it into 3 firsts, you're going to feel real salty about life because you gave up a value that you're not going to get back for a rental that you're going to only get for 2 or 3 years. So you're getting a 2 to 3 year rental on a team that's in a win-now situation, and two, going to end up with a new head coach and new everything anyway, which means that you're going to be stuck with a player that nobody wants. It just doesn't make sense. You got to remove your love for the player out of it and just look at how does he fit into the scheme here and how much sense does he make financially to come here and what impact will he bring. He's not getting us to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, if we get Khalil Mack, we're going to be in the same situation as the Bears are right now.
We get Khalil Mack, we'll be in the same situation that we are right now, talking about how our team didn't make the playoffs.
I mean, take it one step further. Take it one step, fellas. Let's be honest. You had a team with Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley, Kyle Van Der Bosch, and Cliff Averill. And is Khalil Mack giving you more production than that? That didn't get us to a Super Bowl, but now Khalil Mack is Superman.
Yeah, but that year we couldn't score any points, dude. We were not a top 5 offense. We were an awful offense that year.
Okay, I'm gonna join you on the dark side.
That's true.
I'm gonna join you on the dark side. We couldn't score points that year, right?
For Khalil Mack.
We could score points that year, but let's be honest. Even if we could score points, Khalil Mack is not giving you the production of that group. It's a team sport. One player does not. What does Khalil Mack average for sacks and tackles for a loss a season?
At least 10 sacks a season.
He had the same stats as Trey Flowers. Let's stop.
So here's my thing. You have 2 Trey Flowers, which Trey Flowers has played phenomenal. Khalil Mack has played well. You add in a healthy Slay, a Tracy Walker, and Amani Oruwariye, who was doing fantastic as a rookie with no pressure coming from our D-line. You have Deshaun Hand coming back from injury. You have Snacks if he doesn't freaking retire. You have Tavai in a second year. You have Justin Coleman. Like, there's so many pieces that are coming that we didn't have that year.
You think another Trey Flowers is worth $26 million?
Let me ask you this. What's the point of drafting Chase Young then if we're obviously not going to change anything with an elite DN coming to our team?
No, J-Mo, let me.
Chase Young's great. Let's not get
No. I'm gonna tell you why. The reason you draft a person like Chase Young versus trading that pick for Khalil Mack is because
the money
guess what?
Of it, but I'm talking about
No. Listen, forget the money aspect of it. Take the money part out. The reason you do that is because I guarantee I get more years out of Chase Young than I do out of Khalil Mack. That's one. Two, when a new regime comes in, because I have a feeling we will get a new one. When a new regime comes in, guess what? They still have a young piece to work with and play with. Khalil Mack, you got 2 to 3 years, tops. The upside on Chase Young is higher, and I'm not even a Chase Young fan, but it's higher than Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack has hit his ceiling. Chase Young has not started to touch his yet. So that's why you take a guy like that. And the risk don't cost you $26 million.
And giving Chicago a 3rd overall pick.
The 3rd overall pick. 3rd. Not 31st, not 32. 3rd.
And if they got a Herbert, who I think that would piss me off to see a player that I covet because he played for the Oregon Ducks, play for the damn enemy. I already got Kirk Cousins playing for the Vikings, and his fucking parents live just 5 miles from my house. Yeah, I don't need another one of these, man. Stay out of the NFC North. Out of the NFC North.
I get it, man. I'm just saying if we can add an elite DN and still not make an impact in this league, then we're screwed for years to come because we have a good quarterback. We have a good offense. You know, we have some pieces on defense. And if you add an elite DN and you still can't do anything, I mean, you need Jesus. You need Jesus to do something at that point.
The holy water.
Andrew, I put it like this. I'm finna show you how crazy this is, and at least how my thinking is. I remember this one year, Andy Reid was the head coach of the Eagles, and he traded Donovan McNabb to the Washington Redskins, right? And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You just traded your franchise quarterback to the Washington Redskins. But what Andy Reid understood was he had got everything he can already get out of Donovan McNabb. If the Bears are sending us Khalil Mack, they may just know that they've gotten everything you're going to get out of him, and it's best to get for underneath this contract than to stay with it, knowing that we're not going to get more than what we got. Because at the end of the day, in a lot of those games, he disappeared. And that's just the reality of it. You only trade within a division when you know that they are not a threat to you.
I mean, I feel you, man, but look what they did with Trubisky. You know, they traded multiple first rounds for a bum quarterback when they could have had Watson or Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
like,
the greatest move they done.
You know, I mean, I can argue both sides. You know, like your side, my side. I'm just saying, dude, if we can get an elite DN, you know, with everything going on, either way, if we're not winning this season, everything's getting torn apart. We're not going to have Stafford in the future. You know, they're going to tear everything down. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
like,
I'm not convinced with that either, though.
But why?
Because if we
they're going to re-sign Stafford at mid-30s?
No, look, listen. If we go 9-7, Stafford throws for 500 yards and 40 touchdowns, it's not a guarantee that the new regime is going to get rid of him. Now, they definitely could get rid of him, but if he has a great year and the team was trash, you might want to start with Stafford and draft a quarterback to groom under him for at least 2 to 3 years. It's not really a guarantee that they're going to get rid of him, especially if he plays great. That's not a guarantee.
Now, when it comes to get ready in Stafford, I think the biggest issue is really his health and his spine. And I would not be opposed to if they feel like Stafford's back, you know, it's going to be degenerative, kind of like mine. I'm not going to be upset if next year they drafted a quarterback at all, even if he put up a good amount of yards, because you want to groom somebody, just like J-Mo said, and do it the correct way, like what they did with Alex Smith. Mahomes,
or what they did with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not opposed.
And to be honest with you, they wouldn't even let the new quarterback sit that long. But the whole purpose is that, let's say, for example, they do suck next year, right? Like, let's say they do. If you just take yourself out of your fandom, you play quarterback, right? So imagine if you was a offensive-minded coach or a defensive-minded coach or whatever, you a head coach, and now you're coming in. And here's your options. You have the option to pick the quarterback you believe in or be told that this is the quarterback you must win with. You're going to want to be able to pick your guys. So even if you don't feel like, oh, it's not going to make a difference, it does, because when I pick my guys, I get a chance to do things my way. And at the very least, I get at least 1 year for my guy to learn before I can move on from the other guy safely without destroying my cap that I'm going to need to pick up more of my guys. All I've been hearing from people who sympathize with Matt Patricia is, well, he hasn't gotten his guys in here. That's bull. 90% of this roster has been overturned.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You want to grab the players you like, and I totally get that. But, like, they just did that with Trubisky, and it didn't pan out, you know? I'm just playing devil's advocate with that.
I was about to say, whose fault is that?
That's their GM. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was about to say, that's not our fault. That's not our problem.
Right.
No, I know. I'm saying, like, that's all on them, you know what I'm saying? So they clearly saw something
in this dude. The fact that the Bears want to trade Khalil Mack after they just had a legendary defense is extremely alarming to me. The fact that they don't want to try to get a new quarterback, like even a 38-year-old Phillip Rivers, I know he's old, but he's better than Trubisky. Try to get a Cam Newton or try to do that and keep Khalil Mack so you can have that dominant defense is very alarming to me. You don't want to try to get Cam Newton and have Khalil Mack on the team. You want to move Khalil Mack, the best player on your team.
They liked Khalil Mack. They liked Khalil Mack at $12 million. They don't like him at $26.6 million. That's the problem.
Yeah, but if you think you're a quarterback away, why are you trading Khalil Mack?
They need draft capital, man, because they traded away all their picks.
Good point. If you're a quarterback away, why get rid of a guy that you gave us so much for? They've made so many bad deals and gotten bad with the devil so many times that when he finally come to collect, now they trying to figure out if they can restructure the deal. But guess what? After Detroit Lions, we don't need to help them restructure nothing. Let them suffer. You already got enough problems as it is trying to compete within the division because those teams are at least doing something that you refuse to do and run a ball and build a defense. So my attitude to it is this. Why am I going to help them? Why?
I mean, I get it. Nobody
we've
hates the
helped
NFC North more than me, man.
We have helped them out for many years. It's our damn time to finally do well. The Bears want Marcus
let them
Mariota.
suffer, man. They can have Marcus Mariota. Yeah. What you mean? What are he gonna do?
He's not a starter, in my opinion. I think he'll be a backup. But
I hope they get Marcus Mariota. Use it to my ears.
Trubisky, though, is not even a backup. That dude is blank.
I don't think Trubisky is better than Jeff Driscoll, and I'm not being a Bears hater when I say that. I really believe that. Jeff Driscoll can throw the ball better than he can, and he can run.
Trubisky shouldn't have been drafted.
He shouldn't have been.
Mariota's better than
what kind of quarterback gets drafted and you start 12 games in college? That never happens.
Let alone second overall.
Trubisky's the 40th best quarterback in a 32-league team. So
in a 32-team league.
So yeah, man. Look, it's fun to talk about. No, I don't want to trade for Khalil Mack. You win through draft, you win through young players, and I think that's the best way to win. Not picking up these guys that's already been on teams and they have a high cap hit as well as they're older. I like the younger, fresher look, and to me, that's the way we should go. I think if we can get I'm with you though, Andrew. We got to get that defensive end, defensive pass rush, or else we're screwed anyways. Period. If we don't get someone to rush the passer, whether it be the draft or in free agency, we're effed. We're effed in a big way.
Mike, Drew, I'm just gonna go down the whole list. J-Mo, Real. Listen, man. We do not need a pass rusher. We do not need a pass rusher, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Because you're high.
Please.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. I'll tell you why. We don't need a pass rusher because I can go through right now, just last year, of all the teams who have a pass rusher, and it really didn't change the team's fortunes per se. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Go start with the Denver Broncos. They got Von Miller. How they finish?
Our quarterbacks, the opposing quarterbacks, stand in the pocket for 7 to 8 seconds.
Right. Listen.
But you're comparing apples and oranges, man.
I agree with
that number is skewed, though. Our defensive line wasn't healthy.
Listen, I agree with that, but what I'm pointing out to you is it's not one player. We as football intelligent people have to get away from the idea that we need to get a pass rusher to generate pass rush. No, what we need to do is create a scheme that creates pass rush. So, for example, the Saints don't have the best pass rusher, but they generate pressure because they have a scheme that generates that pressure. The 49ers have all the pass rushers they need. It was doing phenomenal work in the Super Bowl and everything else. I get it. But guess what? At the end of the day, in that game, towards the end, the pass rush wasn't getting home like it was. It is because of the scheme was starting to get figured out and they was playing faster. You have to come up with a scheme that allows for pass rush to be the case. It's not just a player. It is a scheme. We need to focus on that.
We need a pass rush because, first off, Snacks Harrison is getting old. He may even retire. We need to get someone to help on the other side of it, Sean Hand, because he was injured. Mike Daniels, that dude broken. We need to get some help in the interior and on the edge, someone to get after the quarterback. And if we don't do that this offseason, if we decide to skip defensive end or defensive tackle, the net result is going to be the same. The defense is going to suck because.
But did you forget about free agency?
No,
we don't have much cap space.
No.
I mean, there's pass rushers in free agency though.
J-Mo, I literally said if we get it in free agency or the draft, I'm perfectly happy. But we need to get pass rush. We need to, whether it be the free agency or the draft, we have to get after the quarterback. We cannot allow a quarterback to sit in there 7 to 8 seconds. I don't care who you could have. Darrelle Revis, Darius Slay, and Coleman back there, and guess what? They're gonna get picked apart because that damn quarterback sitting there, Aaron Rodgers sitting there, Kirk Cousins sitting there. Look at Trubisky,
bro.
He's back there and beat us. We gotta get somebody, man. We gotta get somebody. And
can I ask you this though, Mike? Let me ask you this, Mike. Who were the top 2 defenses in the league this year?
I'm going to have to say the San Francisco 49ers. They got to be up there. And
It was the Patriots.
The Patriots was number 1. Yeah.
All right, so the top. So give me, and where did the Ravens defense pass rush?
I was about to say Ravens defense was very, very high up. It was very high up. It was like top 5.
Who was the best pass rusher on the New England Patriots?
I don't even know.
But it was their secondary doing all the work, man.
Nope, that's a lie. That is an absolute lie. No, it wasn't. Nope, it wasn't. Who was the best pass rusher on the 49ers?
Gilmore was literally the defensive player of the year, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, listen. You name one. You name one guy, and you said it was their secondary. I ain't never known one guy to be the whole secondary. That's a group. I'm just pointing out to you that to say that it was the secondary is not true. It's just not. It was an effort and scheme. That's why I'm asking you, who was the pass rusher on the top pass rusher on the Ravens?
What up,
Judon. Matt Judon.
I'm gonna tell you this. What happened when we had Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley? Well,
no. Listen.
But Ndamukong Suh isn't a pass rusher.
Listen, we gotta go. We gotta get away from that. We gotta be able to pay attention to what's happening. The top defenses. You cannot sit there and tell me that they had this key pass rusher that was just doing it. Even Nick Bosa, I think he had 6 sacks.
No, he had like 10 sacks. Yeah, like 10 sacks.
Yeah,
that was like with playoffs though.
No. He had like 10 sacks in the regular season. Was
it? I could have swore that the number 1 rookie in that had sacks was Josh Allen at 10.5. I'm almost sure of that.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about Josh Allen and Jacksonville Jaguars, their offense was a total dumpster fire.
I don't know about that. Minshew was balling with them receivers. I don't know about that.
Listen, I'm not even pointing out. I'm just pointing out that rather than run out and try to find one player, it has to have a collective effort from them. And if you got the scheme to do the collective effort, you don't need to put all this emphasis on we got to get a pass rusher. People said we got to get a pass rusher, but there are a lot of teams with a pass rusher that's not getting it done. They're not doing that no better.
Luke, I couldn't agree with you more, man, in terms of the scheme. Scheme is huge. If you don't have the pieces, you got to scheme to it. But the problem is, you said the Patriots were the number 1 defense. Their first 8 games consisted of the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Giants, the Jets, literally bottom 5 teams in the entire league. So obviously their defense is going to look fantastic. But you look at teams that have elite defensive ends on top of scheme and stuff, and they have good defenses. The top 2 defenses outside of the Patriots was the Steelers and the 49ers in terms of turnovers, sacks, all this stuff. Why? Because they had an elite defensive end. They have a couple good cornerbacks, and they have multiple playmakers.
Who was the Steelers' elite defensive end? Because I thought T.J. Watt, who was a linebacker, was their best pass rusher.
Well, he's like that hybrid crap. He rushes all the time.
See, that's why I want Isaiah Simmons, because Isaiah Simmons can cover, he can be in the box, and he can pass rush on top of that. You don't necessarily have to get a defensive end.
I get
that's
that.
I'm saying
someone that's
you don't have to get a
passer.
defensive end.
Yeah, someone that can rush the passer.
Yeah,
the
passer.
Yeah, we got Flowers. We have Slay for at least 1 year. We have Walker. We have Amani, who's an up-and-coming, cornerback. We have Coleman. We have Hand coming back. We have a lot of hurt players on our D-line. And like we said, if you don't have cornerbacks, if you have the best cornerbacks in the league altogether, if you have no pass rush, it doesn't matter because eventually they're going to get tired, the route's going to break, and, things are going to open up. And with all the injuries we had on our D-line, regardless of injuries or they're not guaranteed to come back. They could get hurt again, and then we're stuck with backups playing D-line again with no pressure. So we definitely need a pass rush.
Chase Young can get hurt too.
You can say that about anyone, but that's why we need to add more people that can rush the passer.
Right, yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there, but I like versatility. The fact that Devon Kennard can do what he does, and he can still rush the passer. Jelani Tavai didn't get that many opportunities, but he can do what he does and still rush the passer. You get Isaiah Simmons, he can do what he does and still rush the passer. So it is about a lot about scheme, because I don't know what happened to Matt Patricia this year, but our scheme was much better rushing the passer the year before, but our secondary was kind of bad. And then this year we had the good secondary, but our pass rush was bad.
Yeah,
That's telling me that Matt Patricia only know how to scheme one part of the defense.
Right, each year.
That tells me that God hates the Lions.
But see, this is my point though. My point is we can't keep staying. So this is the answer. When I remember, man, time is flying. It's been about 2 months. I remember I said, I want the meanest, dysfunctional, trifling, unnaturally unhuman safety I can find, and everybody choose me a new one. Little did I know it was going to be Isaiah Simmons through all my research. That was going to be the guy who can fit that bill and still play linebacker. Now, only thing I'm pointing out to you is this. Even if a guy like Isaiah Simmons comes here, I'm looking at the talent and saying, yeah, take the talent. But I'm also understanding that in order for that talent to work, a scheme must be in place for them to work. 90% of the league are scheme players. Might be higher than 90%, but 90% of them are scheme players. If you don't scheme it in a way for them to get the ball, it does not matter. It would be like if you were in basketball and you got a Jordan, you got a Shaq, but you don't know how to run plays through them. It does not matter if you don't scheme it through them. When I look at the Detroit Lions, the first thing that jumped out to me is there's a lacking of scheme. The head coach is keep playing music chairs, trying to figure out how to create this scheme that he wants to run, but it's not working. And one player is not going to come here and change the fortunes of us when you have a flawed scheme.
Of course.
Okay, with the Steelers,
of course,
with the Steelers, they had 3 defensive linemen with 11.5 sacks according to JT Sports. Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Bud Dupree. JT Sports is the Steelers fan, so he would know. So they had some good defensive linemen getting 11 sacks.
Hold on, wait. One more time for me, J-Mo. Repeat that sentence one more time. One more time for me.
They had some good defensive linemen getting sacks.
No, before. He said what?
Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Bud Dupree. 2,
3. Wow, they got more than one player. So you mean to tell me they had a scheme?
We have no players, Luke? Look. This is the problem that I'm understanding from your argument. Okay, I understand that scheme is a problem, but okay, in the 2018 season, our defense was trash. We plugged in Snacks Harrison. It was a beast. He stuffed the run, and guess what? Our defense drastically improved, okay? This season, he wasn't healthy. Pretty much the whole D-line wasn't healthy, and we had no pass rush, okay? Now a lot of them are healthy again, but there's some holes here and there. Every team has holes. I don't understand your arguments saying, and maybe you can help me understand it because this makes no sense. I don't understand how you're saying other teams that have pass rushers aren't doing good. So what? You can look at teams that have good quarterbacks aren't doing good. The Lions have Stafford. It's the same exact argument. Like you said, it's a collective effort. So what? Like, the hole that we need to fill right now is a pass rush because, like Mike said, we're allowing opposing quarterbacks 6 seconds or longer to throw. They could read the reads multiple times, and they don't have to. And then they could just throw at anybody that's wide open that broke their coverage. So how do we not need a pass rush?
How does one player stop that?
It's not one.
Okay, it's not one player. It's one player that we're gonna get at the number 3 overall pick. So we're all hopeful that it's an impact player that could help along with our injured players getting healthy and possibly what we do in free agency. So like I just don't understand what you're trying to get at.
But the thing is, if we had a better scheme, even with those injuries, we could have still generated more pass rush, but our scheme wasn't good enough.
Yeah, exactly. But we had the same scheme from last year. The only thing that changes, our D-line was hurt nonstop. So
you hear what I said?
No, it's not.
Had a better scheme.
No, it was not. The scheme from last year, that year, that toward the end when we got Snacks, that was a totally different scheme than what he came out with this year. And the reason I know it was different was because even in that year, he blitzed more, and the way he lined them up, he was allowing for Devin Kennard to put his hand in the dirt more. Now he just used Devin Kennard like the jack linebacker all day long. The scheme is totally different.
Do you think the scheme from 2018 would have worked with all the injuries we had in 2019?
Yes. I think it would have been more effective than what we saw. Yes.
It wasn't effective until Snacks Harrison was being Snacks Harrison, and he wasn't Snacks Harrison this year.
That's not true. See, that's
How?
short-sighted. That's short-sighted. I'm gonna tell you why it's short-sighted. That's
Please.
not true. When Snacks came in, that defense was still giving up big plays. But what was changing for them was we were able to now somewhat have teams be afraid to run the ball at the gut. Whereas in the previous game before him, they was running the ball at the gut. But guess what teams figured out? They figured out if we run outside, Snacks not chasing out there. And sure enough, teams started running stretch plays on us. And we started getting exposed and stuff. And then you look, you go, dang, why is this happening? Because they were able to stretch the play and get him out of his element. Well, this year, Snacks was on the field with a host of other defensive players way more than they usually were. And last year, they was only on the field about 30% of the time. This year, it was about 60% of the time. He completely changed the scheme, and it wasn't because of injuries. It's because he was trying to force something that wasn't working. And then he tried to say, oh, well, my mentor and I are working together to create this new scheme. Nope, your mentor was hot garbage when you brought him here, but your love for him gave him opportunity. Your fear from him kept him here. So now, when I look at it, I say, the 2018 defense, yes, it was still sucky. It started trending upward up until teams started saying, oh, well, we know how to beat this. The same thing happened to the New England Patriots.
So what should we add then? What should we add if it's not Patrick?
First off, J-Mo is about to leave. J-Mo, you want to give your final thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot of final thoughts. My first final thought is Darius Slade, you need to chill out. I know we didn't get into that today, but Darius Slade, chill out. We're not paying you $18 million, $19 million a year. There's no way we're going to trade Stafford with a $32 million cap hit. And I just want the anti-Stafford Lions fans, look, eventually Stafford will be gone and you'll be happy. But it ain't happening this year, so don't get your hopes up. I do think that us raising the stock of that pick will allow us to either get our player or trade back in the draft. And I do think we have a lot of holes to fill, and it has to be a host of players. And my main thing is the media will continue riding this Stafford trade train because it hasn't been just this article. It's been tons of videos coming out about what they should do. It's like they all feeding into this narrative. But it is what it is, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. And, of course, they will continue the great show when I'm gone, man. Back like I never left. I'm out.
Adios.
See you, J-Mo.
Peace out, man.
Now, Vash caught it. Yes, I was doing the salty. So I like to do that every once in a while. But, look, man, when we had Ndamukong Suh, that D-line was like no other. When we got rid of Ndamukong Suh, our D-line was like a butt. It went down a lot. We need to get the beast. We need to get a dog up on that line and scare the hell out of quarterbacks. And finally, have a defense that can go on all phases and get a W because the D-line does good, the linebackers do better, and the secondary makes picks.
And Mike, I think you make good points. I think you make a good point. I think Andrew make a good point. I think Real make a good point. It's just that I'm a Lions fan. I'm also a Seahawks fan, and I'm also a Buccaneers fan. My favorite player was Warren Sapp. It was him and Reggie White, and I remember looking at how dominating those two players were. But that still never translated to anything for their teams until they came up with a perfect scheme and multiple players to create and work that scheme for it to bring them to success. All the things Warren Sapp did were great, but it wasn't like it was when they added a Simeon Rice, when they started blitzing more using Derrick Brooks, when they started running the ball, and guess what? Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. The scheme is the most important thing that matters. Even in Madden, you can be the worst Madden player, but go on YouTube and steal somebody's scheme that they created, and you're probably a top 5 Madden player. It's just that important. And so for me, yes, we were doing good with Ndamukong Suh. But guess what? Without taking Ndamukong Suh off this team, the difference you saw was teams that said, hey, we're going to run the ball at them because the way they play it, they spread it so far out, which is a terrible scheme employed by Jim Schwartz when he decided to use it the wide 9 because it left wide open gaps for people to just kill us in. Well, when I look at Matt Patricia's scheme, There's no blitzing. Everybody stay home. It's light Novocaine. Give it time. It'll always work. BS defense he runs. Is I don't care who you put back there. You can have the all-star people back there. If they can't come together as a group collectively within that scheme and make that scheme work, it doesn't matter. So you can have the Warren Sapps, the Reggie Whites, the Julius Peppers, the Khalil Macks, the Von Millers, whoever. It's not going to work when your scheme is flawed.
Luke, I couldn't agree more with you, man. I mean, scheme is huge. Coaching is huge, but when you have disruptive players, man, like that causes the other team to scheme around them, like you're saying, like Ndamukong Suh, like when Snacks was playing really good, like all these guys. So, like, you need those players so that offenses are afraid to try and just run up the middle nonstop or try and, do sweep runs outside or something, like you need those dominant players. And, one of the, I think, Rayon Lewis, he just said, like, well, who do we need to get, to have a good defense, Luke? And, see, I love those kind of questions. I can tell you exactly who we need to go. You talking about free agency? Where you want to start at? I mean, there's a lot, obviously. I just think you have to have those impact players on the D line to cause havoc. And, if the teams want to say, you know what, I don't need to scheme around them, well, then they're going to be disruptive and they're going to mess up their game plan. So either way, they're causing problems for the other team. And that's what we need. We need problem causers on our defense, because right now the only one we really have was Flowers on our D line. And he started really slow because of his injury and surgery and stuff. So it didn't help the Rams out. They had an unbelievably all-star defense, and when that scheme that they was running, that defense, it was everybody talked about how good that defense, but I was like, it gave up a lot of big plays, and they ran their way to the Super Bowl until they couldn't run no more. And here's what we need to get. First of all, we need to get somebody who's competent from the get-go to create a scheme that is going to utilize the things that we have already as weapons. So we know we're not getting that this year in coaching. So we got to go to the next step, which is what Real believes, which is, taking the person who's going to bring the impact. Well, here's the thing. The biggest
it's not just that. It's not just that, because, okay, so, yeah, I agree. We need a better scheme, okay? I would love to have Bill Belichick here implement whatever he does into this organization. Look, we could obviously have a better scheme. It's not working. But given that we have Patricia's scheme, okay, and given that our players from before are getting healthier, what position would you take? What do you feel like is the most valuable position to address? Is it not the pass rush, whether it be linebacking, pass rush, or age or edge?
Safety.
You think safety is more important?
Yes. Yeah.
So okay, but isn't your argument we shouldn't be like one player? So you think safety is that one player?
No. I'm not saying it's one player, but you saying who is the one player that I'm going to take at this point? And I say I'm not necessarily focusing on the pass rush. I'm focusing on getting the person that I know is going to have an impact. The safety has that impact, and I'm going to tell you why. What the safety does is the safety has a top view of the entire offense. They see everything. They can see everything going out. So what I do is I look at all my favorite defenses. The 85 Bears, the 2004 Bucks, the 2000 Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm drawing a blank on the year, but that's the year they end up getting Troy Polamalu. Okay, now I watched all those teams and I said, what did they have? They had a pretty decent D lineman, a pretty solid linebacker, and an unbelievable safety. All of them had it. And what I noticed was that in those games where teams were playing them, you saw the quarterback trying to get away from the safety. So what happened? The pass rush started being created because now you have people who have more time to get there. Because you know that with Troy Polamalu, throwing that ball is more detrimental than getting a sack. Because not only will he intercept it, he'll take it back. And even the year that the Raiders, before they had to run into their old coach who put all their stuff in place in the Super Bowl, the year that the Raiders went to the Super Bowl versus the Buccaneers, I said, look what they got going on. They had Charles Woodson splitting time between safety and corner because they knew that it was going to buy time for the defensive line to get there. So when I looked at the Lions,
they didn't need to hold him for 6+ seconds like our secondary does.
Right, but the problem is this. The scheme is the problem, right? So if the scheme is the problem, I now need to create a way, since I know that he's not going to be willing to do what it takes to get after the quarterback. I now need a way for something to be a deterrent. If you have a safety like a Earl Thomas, like a Troy Polamalu, a Ed Reed, a John Lynch, those kind of safeties that make you look twice, then you stop. So in free agency, if Jamal Adams hit the free agency pool, I'm taking him. Whatever he won't, pay him.
Luke,
Because
the big flaw with this is that you're talking about some of the best Hall of Famers of all time. You know, you're pretty much basing this around the fact that we're going to draft a Hall of Famer.
No, I'm basing it around the fact that before they were Hall of Famers, they had to put in work. And they became Hall of Famers for what they did. Troy Polamalu didn't just come to the NFL and was like Hall of Famer. No, he put in work. And I saw the work he put in. I saw the work Ed Reed put in. I saw the work Sean Taylor put in. When they put that kind of work in, I guarantee you it changes the way you want to approach the game.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. They were all freaks. You know, they spent all day, all night working. But the problem is, yeah, I mean, the problem is that, like, if everyone could just put in the work and become a Hall of Famer, I mean, most athletes would. You know, the problem is that not all of them are gifted like that. They don't have the brain to read, you know, the offense, what they're doing and stuff like that. But we're not talking about that, though.
We're not talking about are they gifted to do that. What we're talking about is this. You have a flawed system, right? But I always look at it and I say, who has the most freedom in a flawed system? Whether it's offense or defense. On the defense, it's always the safety. It's always the safety. On a offense, the person who has the most freedom in a flawed offense is always going to be the quarterback. So you have to be able to maneuver with those two. We are in games because Stafford's played. We'll be in more games with a better safety play. I love Tracy Walker, but he's not scaring nobody away from throwing that ball down there.
Now, it is subscriber time. It is to tell us what you want. You ask any question to us personally, us as a group, and we will answer. The first question here is from Sports Talk FMB. Who do you think we should pick up in free agency? Well, here is the individual I totally do believe we're going to pick up. That's Chris Harris. I think that it's almost a lock, in my opinion. I feel like it's a 99% chance we're going to get him. A couple individuals who we could target, former Patriots like safety Devin McCourty. He had 5 interceptions last year for the Patriots. And guard Joe Tooney from the Patriots as well to beef up the offensive line. How about, what say you, Real? Who do you think the line's going to get in free agency?
I think Chris Harris, who I think they will pick up or should. So I think they will pick up Chris Harris, and I don't necessarily think they should because we've seen throughout his career, he's the most successful when he plays slot cornerback, and that's kind of the same exact player that Justin Coleman is. So I'm scared that like we're going to get them, and they're both amazing slot cornerbacks, but we're going to have to put one of them on the outside, and it's going to be difficult for them. It's probably going to be Justin Coleman because he's younger. I mean, I don't know. I think that it might. I don't know. I think it might blow up in our face if we pay a lot of money to an aging, primarily slot cornerback and put him on the outside. So I don't know if we should do that, but I think we are going to do that. But who I wish we do is Chris Jones. He's the dream pick. If we got Chris Jones to come here, I think that'd be a dream pick for us because we have a glaring hole at D tackle, and that would be sure fill up. Like he's the perfect age too. He'd be young, he's explosive, and he's honestly a beast.
I agree. What say you, Mr. Andrew?
Yo, first I want to say hit that like button, you know, show us some love, show us you're out there.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I would never say this, but after this last playoff series with the Titans, I would love if we took Derrick Henry and just rode him the Titans did. Just literally put the game on his back, but had Stafford still. You know, I mean, could you imagine having an elite running back like Derrick Henry that got the rushing title and literally beat the Patriots and the Ravens, the freaking Ravens that were projected to win the Super Bowl because of how good they were? I mean, besides that, I'm all for defense. You know what I'm saying? Defensive-wise, I would love to see maybe like a Yannick Ngakoue, so that realistic, that we could actually afford. A Yannick Ngakoue, I like what Luke was saying about the safety position. I wouldn't mind maybe grabbing Anthony Harris because he wouldn't be that expensive, but they're still good players. Even Shaq Barrett, he led the league in sacks, but before that, he wasn't really doing much. So I'm sure we could get him for a decent price. And if he continued that sack production that he did this past year, I mean, that's a home run hit right there. So,
Luke, who do you want the Lions to pick at number 3?
The person that I think they're going to take, based on the research I've done, I think it's going to be Isaiah Simmons. And I think it makes the most sense. I think if you're asking yourself that who can I take and they'll transition regardless of who's the coach, it's got to be him. If Patricia don't get it done and they fire him and a new coach come in, guess what? With a guy like Isaiah Simmons, I got options. Maybe I do want to use him as a rush linebacker. Maybe I do want to use him as a safety. Maybe I do want to use him as a middle linebacker or whatever. But I got options. Way too many options with him. I mean, the guy is covering freaking slot corners. So if you're asking me, I think that the Lions are going to take Isaiah Simmons, and the evidence support it. Just based on what his draft history has been, the schools he select. Generally in the first rounds is SEC or Big Ten. Those are the two schools. This is a year he's going to break the mold and go on over to the dark side to the ACC, if you ask me. Just saying. So I think it's going to be Isaiah Simmons.
JT, man, appreciate the super chat. Definitely put it back into my channel. I am going to withdraw the money one time with all the money that I have got through super chats throughout this year. So I truly do appreciate it. And I will probably buy more equipment, better microphone, a better green screen. So I truly, truly do appreciate it. He says players the Detroit Lions should trade for. Oh man, players who we should trade for.
Chandler Jones, 100%. The dude's a little bit older, still producing a phenomenal game each game, and the dude would probably go for like a second-round pick with what they're trading elite players for.
Okay.
I like that. I like that pick. But I think I'm gonna pick a different player from that team, and I'm gonna take Patrick Peterson because I think he'll come cheap. I think he'll be worth a good 5th round pick.
Yeah, I was exactly that was the person I was gonna say.
Me and Real have talked about that. I would love to have PP on the team and just, him, Slay, Coleman, Walker, all that. And he's older, you know what I'm saying? But even if like Amani can learn behind Patrick Peterson and, just develop and just all, Tracy Walker's young too, Coleman, that would be phenomenal because Patrick Peterson is definitely a Hall of Famer.
Robert has a good one here. Should we try running back at number 2? Now, here's the thing. If we get multiple second-round picks going from 3 to 5, I'm okay with picking up a running back in that sense. But if we just got 1 second-round pick, no, we got other needs. I think we should fiddle. But if we get multiple ones, then I don't see a problem with it. I think that could be a good idea. Can we trade back with the Dolphins and get 5 and 18, also slave for a second round for the Dolphins? That's interesting because I feel like the value of this 3rd pick that we got keeps going up and up by the day, like the rumors with trading Stafford. So I think, man, it's possible. It's possible that we could get, up there another 1st-round pick from it, and I think that would be great. That would be absolutely great. Here's a good one. Would the Cardinals take Rick Wagner and a 5th? Interesting. Rick Wagner, I thought was going to be off this team after this year until we got that mandate win, because I feel like Terrell Crosby could take over the right side, but that would be a good way, too, if they decide to trade for it. What say you guys? Would you trade Rick Wagner for a
5th? Yeah. You have to. I mean, it's better than nothing. What's the alternative? Nothing. It's better than nothing. And the truth is this. You free up cap space because I think he got one of the better cap-free friendly deals on the team. So you will free up cap space, but now here's the other problem. That now means that your right tackle is going to be Taylor Decker. And that changes the approach of what the Lions would do, because I think if they did trade him, make Taylor Decker the right tackle, I think they trade down and they take a tackle. And that could be another story that we don't want to put our eyes on.
That would be good. Robert, love y'all. Super chat, $2. Appreciate it, man. We're gonna get you
Yes,
on
sir.
here and do the Stafford debate because I know we all have different opinions, and I would love to hear debate in the fact of how Stafford's not winning. So I truly do appreciate it. Bruce says 5th for a Scotch. Okay, or a 5th of vodka.
Tequila, man, tequila.
Scotch.
Let's see here. Who the hell wants Rick Wagner? Okay, so if Chase falls to us, you don't think we take him? It depends on
who's on the board.
I think it's If Chase falls to us at 3, that means probably Tua went 2. Obviously, Burrow went 1.
Yeah,
so,
that's a guaranteed if Chase is at 3.
I would seek a trade to see what we can get if we go from, again, like a 3 to 5, or if another team covets Herbert. I would look at it, but if the trade value is not there, I would take Chase Young at 3.
I just threw up in my throat. My bad. So, I mean, why? Why? I saw this article the other day on how Chase Young fits into the Detroit Lions defense, and I'm like, they're like, oh, he can rush from the 2-point. I'm like, but he can't. Yes, he can.
Here, counter that, Luke. You think we're going to have a new regime after this season?
Yes.
So if we drafted him, he would fit into the new system that we got because they would play around him. They would utilize his talent.
Mike, don't be coming for me like that, bro. Don't be doing that. Don't be coming for me like that,
you
bro.
went straight for the jugular.
Yeah, right. Just coming out of nowhere. I mean, good point, Mike. I gotta give you a props. Good point. If the new regime comes in and take it, I'm okay with it because as long as it's not a quarterback, I believe that the new regime that comes in should be able to pick his leader at quarterback. And so if you're telling me Chase Young is going to be here and that means that the new regime comes in and we go to a 4-3, I am all for the Chase Young pick. But I will forever compare Chase Young to Isaiah Simmons to know if we made the right decision or not. Similar to how I'm going to compare TJ Hockenson to Ed Oliver when we had this great debate, me and Real.
Dude, you know what, though? I mean, the whole thing was that up until, like, recently, Chase Young was not even remotely in the question, you know? So I 100% was taking Isaiah Simmons at 3. I mean, Real have talked about it. I'm all for Simmons. But the thing was that there was no possibility of us getting Young at 3. But now that there is, you know, I can't see us passing up on a defensive end of that caliber that broke the single sack record at Ohio State after both Bosa's literally just played there. And you look what they're doing in the league with not much. I mean, Nick Bosa has stuff around him, but like Joey Bosa doesn't have that much around him. And I mean, it's hard to pass up, you know?
You realize that Nick Bosa was hurt that last year, right? Like,
I tell you what, though, he hurt a lot of teams this year.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like he was like that last year. The record that he supposedly had broke don't mean. I put it this way: that record that Chase Young broke don't mean nothing to me because the last person the Lions took that broke a record was Kevin Smith. And remember when Kevin Smith broke Barry Sanders' record and they went, he broke Barry's record. How'd that work out?
Well, let's put it this way: Chase Young got 16.5 sacks with 2 games missing from the regular season of the Buckeyes. I think he'll be an impressive player. I think he's going to be a beast. Data Boy says, what do you think about free agent from the Steelers on the defensive line? Oh, I think you're
Bud Dupree.
Yeah. No, there's someone else too I was thinking about. Actually talked about it, but I forget his name. He's a defensive tackle. And I just can't think of the name right now. So if you could put the name in there, I'll remember. I seen another question about Zach Moss. He's a bigger back. He's around 222. He's 5'10". And he had some good yards. Again, when it comes to running back, I just feel weak. Yes, Hargrave. I just feel that if we get extra picks, I'm okay with it. If we don't, if we're stuck with the same amount of picks, I don't want to see a running back for a while, man. I need to see defense.
Shoot, let me tell you something. If we get J.K. Dobbins in the second, y'all liable to see me moonwalk on film. Because I'm telling you right now, I believe in him. Listen, I haven't believed in a running back that tough since Sony Michel and Joe Mixon. Those were two running backs I was definitely in love with. I think they both produced for their teams, even though they used Sony Michel sparingly in New England. There was a lot of games where he closed it out like he did for the Bulldogs. And with J.K. Dobbins, I just know like that boy, he just wanted him and that dude from Clemson whose name I'm gonna always botch every time, NTT, whatever. I'm gonna botch his name.
Okay. Well, folks, we have been on for about an hour and 35 minutes. And guess what? Tomorrow, I got to get up and go to work because I have to sleep. And that's just the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and do last words. Andrew, what do you got to say to the folks?
Honestly, I mean, I thought it was a great debate amongst multiple topics. You know, I hope to God that we don't trade Stafford and eat that cap space, and that we just don't do anything dumb or fancy in the first round. You know, I want to make sure that we're getting one of those elite players, whether it's Chase Young, whether it's Isaiah Simmons, you know, Derek Brown. Just, you know, I'm hoping our team does us proud instead of screwing us year after year in the draft and making us all upset.
Yeah, I enjoy getting screwed, just not by the NFL. What say you, man? Real, what do you got to say to the folks out there?
Just want to start off saying thanks to all the boys in the chat. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to jump onto our channel or any of the channels of the DSA, we really appreciate it. Subscribe and hit that notification bell too, because any of us can host these roundtables now. It's a free for all out here, so that's crazy. Also, yeah, and also, I agree, Andrew. It's been great competitive talk, and that's what I like to hear. I love passionate, intelligent conversations about the Lions. So one pride
or don't ride, just like the general view. Luke, what do you got to say?
Man, first I just want to say I'm so happy that we got the real Lion fans on here, man. Real and Andrew, y'all are a breath of fresh air, man. It is so much fun. Y'all, I mean, don't get me wrong, the original crew we rock with it, but y'all be having to rethink some stuff like, but wait a minute, why are we doing this? why we doing? Got me up, get my blood pressure up. I'm like, what you mean? Like, but it's always a pleasure, man. And so, people, I like to try to end shows on good notes, man. Keep it simple. Man, enjoyment is not hard to find if you just do it with those who you enjoy being around, man. It's a lot going on in this world this day, and a lot of things that we can't explain. Just enjoy the moments that you have with who you have and know that, man, this is the best time to be free. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you subscribe to all the members of the DSA. And remember, as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research.
Folks, subscribe to Real Detroit Lions fans. You got to do it. You have to. I see they're at 163. We got to get these guys to 200 as fast as humanly possible.
Yes, sir.
They will be hosting roundtables. They also do shows. And guess what? I'm going to be on their show. Guess what? Luke is going to be on their show. And I don't know if you heard, but I think there's going to be a debate coming between Luke and Real.
I'm winning. I'm winning.
No chance.
We're accepting bets now. Over under.
That's it, folks.
I'm favored in the. Vegas is favored me.
I always say out there, it's humbling that you guys take the time to listen to us. We got to 80. Man, 80 people with such a bad season and an off season with the Lions. You know, we got a lot of bad stuff going on, but the people are still showing out. So just a true testament of why Lions fans are the best in all of sports, because we talk even though they don't do well. And that means a lot. Again, we will have the roundtable on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If it's not on Luke's channel, it will be on Real's channel, and I believe 8 o'clock will be the time. Me at 7 o'clock because I have to get up so early. So when I host it at 7 p.m., when they do it, it's going to be 8 p.m. With that said, guys, adios.